Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Natalia with Mom's Dish. I am so happy to have you here today because we're gonna be making the most amazing, the easiest bread recipe. It's just a few ingredients. I cannot wait for you to see this because it's so easy. Let's get started. The ingredients in this recipe are so simple. When I told my mom what I used for the bread recipe, she was like, there's no way, because it's just literally a few ingredients. We have lukewarm water, about 110 degrees or so, flour. I have a few favorite brands. We will list them down below. That way you can use the best option for your bread. Then we have some salt and active dry yeast, and that's everything. For the first step, what I like to do is put dry ingredients together. So we have some salt. I'll add that in here. Set this aside. Then active dry yeast, and you don't need a lot of yeast because this bread dough does require some sitting time. So we have some yeast, and I'll toss this together, and then we will add water to this. And the water does not require to be kneaded in. You just pour it in, mix it in, and that's all. So it's super simple. Let's get this all mixed in. And one of the things that you can do in this recipe is actually use your hands, but I have this like flat surface spatula that I love using for a lot of the recipes. So what I do is I just fold it over with a spatula just enough so I can get all the dry ingredients together, and that's all. So I don't even have to get my hands dirty. So now that the dough is all combined, I am gonna cover it with plastic wrap, and you want this to sit for at least 12 to 24 hours. I have tried 6 hours. I have tried longer time, but the perfect time is between 12 and 24 hours. That's when the dough gets all bubbly and like perfect for that bubbly bread recipe. Typically, for me, what I do is I make this the night before and I just pull it out the next day and we have fresh bread for the next day. So it's not waiting during the day. Look at this bubbly, perfect dough. Out of that small piece of dough, this whole bowl filled up with bubbly dough. And that's what we want. We want those big giant bubbles. That's what makes the best bread. It is very sticky, and that's totally normal. We're gonna be generous with flour when we're working with the dough, but the bubbles is what we want. So now I'm gonna flour the surface where I'm gonna pour out the dough. Let's do this. Like a good scoop of flour is good, and that's what we'll use as a surface to work with the dough. I'll spread this around just a little bit, and now I'm gonna pour it out. And I like to use a spatula as a hand. Now I'll flour my hands as well to help myself with shaping. As you can see, the dough is quite sticky, but because my hands are generously floured, it's not really sticking to my hands. So to form a perfect round shape, you can play around with the different shapes. I have made this dough maybe thousands of times now. Seriously, it's the best bread dough recipe. I like to make it in round shapes. So what I do is I tuck it in underneath. So I just go all around in a circle, and I just tuck it in as much as possible. And I form this shape, round shape. As it will rise, because we'll leave this to rise for about half an hour, it will flatten a little bit. So as round as you can get, that's great. And if you need to flour your hands, I just like to use my baking sheet. So it makes it super easy. I use the flour around the dough and I dust it on top as well. Okay, we're all done. I'm gonna cover it with a towel and let it sit for about 30 to 45 minutes or so to let it rise, and then we'll be ready for baking. So we're gonna place this pan on the bottom shelf of the oven, and I will pour in the water inside of it. When we do this is after your oven is been completely preheated. So I'll place it in here, and on the top shelf, I will place bread inside as well. So the water has been steaming in there for like a minute or so. There's quite a bit of steam, so you want to stand back a little bit because the heat is pretty high. And I'm gonna pop this bread in here, and after 10 minutes, I will remove the water. So I'll set a timer. You guys, the bread smells amazing. It turned out so good. It has those airy and fluffy bubbles the way we like it. And this is why I love this recipe so much. It's so easy. I make it the night before, I bake it fresh right before my guests arrive, and every time my friends and family, they request it. We go on cabin trips, I actually carry the dough with me, and then the next day we have bread for lunch. I'm gonna have a little piece with jam and some butter. I like using salted butter, it's so good. You guys, thanks so much for staying with us today. Comment, like, subscribe, would love to hear from you. It means a lot to us whenever you spend time just letting us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you and see you next week.